Ladies and gentlemen, a new snapshot for Minecraft Java Edition 1.17, the Caves and Cliffs Update Part 1 has been released. Here is 21w20a. The snapshot is another one focused primarily around bugs, but it also has some tweaks to new features and some accessibility improvements. My name is slicedlime, I'm here to guide you through all the changes in this version, and let's start with gameplay. If you till a rooted dirt with a hoe, it will now convert into regular dirt and you will get a hanging roots item popping out of it. Catching a fish in a bucket in creative mode will now give you a new bucket. Some redstone related tweaks. Lava cauldrons now emit a signal strength of 3 when checked with a comparator instead of 1. And amethyst blocks now conduct redstone. Pointed dripstone falling onto a player could cause extreme durability damage to their helmet, that is fixed in this version. When using shears on glow lichen that has several sides of lichen in one block, then you only got one drop, that is fixed in this version. Powder snow could create ghost blocks in creative mode, that is fixed in this version. For real. And powder snow will now turn into water in cauldrons when melting. Mobs had difficulties walking on top of big dripleafs when the big dripleaf was 4 blocks or more away from the ground, that is fixed in this version. And the top half block of a small dripleaf could turn into a ghost block when placing it in water while the water was being removed. Splash water bottles can now extinguish candle cakes. And a whole slew of fixes have been done to things that could be affected but shouldn't inside of spawn protection. That includes pointed dripstone being possible to break, campfires and TNT being lightable with an arrow from a flame bow, powder snow being broken if you were on fire, chorus flowers being broken with a projectile, and being able to decrease the level of water or powder snow in a cauldron through the use of an entity on fire. Let's move on to fixes to mobs. A whole slew of fixes have been done to axolotls. Axolotls could get stuck and spin constantly on top of lily pads in a nice little dance that is fixed in this version, and their movement on stairs would glitch. When on land and trying to pathfind towards water and that water was unreachable, axolotls would start spinning and then eventually dry out and die. Axolotls will now avoid lava when pathfinding. And some fixes have been done to their movement. They would have a swimming animation when on land, that is fixed in this version. Sometimes they would twitch rapidly when adjusting their rotation. They would sometimes use the walking animation in shallow water, and could frequently get stuck inside of waterlogged blocks. Breeding an axolotl with a bucket of tropical fish would give you back a bucket instead of a water bucket, that is fixed in this version. And you could also breed them with just a tropical fish, not the bucketed version of that tropical fish. When you collected an axolotl in a water bucket in creative mode, then it would replace the original bucket instead of creating a new one. And collecting an axolotl in a bucket and then placing it would reset its kill cooldown, also fixed in this version. Axolotls will play dead even if they were taking damage without being attacked by an entity, that is fixed in this version. And they will also now only play dead when inside of water. Let's move on to other mobs. Llamas will no longer spit at players in peaceful mode. Strays can now spawn in powder snow, and foxes spawned inside of powder snow will no longer go to sleep and freeze to death. Rideable mobs are now affected by the freezing effect when ridden into powder snow, and parrots sitting on shoulders will now also take freezing damage. Shulkers could rotate their head up and down, that is fixed in this version. And bees will now pollinate all blocks of a cavine, not just the top ones. Let's move on to world generation. A truly ancient bug, a 3-digit bug, has been fixed in this version. That is the bug where grass and flowers and such would generate floating in the air above lava and water pockets on the surface of the world. In the previous snapshot there was a listed change where geodes were said to have been made rarer, but as a matter of fact they had not had any change done to them at all. The snapshot notes for this week say actually made geodes rarer this time, but they're actually more common now. Other fixes to geodes though. Amethyst geodes would cause floating water and lava to generate when intersecting with water and lava pools, that is fixed in this version. Geodes could also overwrite many things that they shouldn't, including bedrock and the portal frames, dungeon spawners and chests. Those are fixed in this version. And also fossils could generate through bedrock, that is also fixed. And finally, a fix for superflat. Superflat worlds will now once again generate with decoration. Let's talk about the user interface, and let's start with some accessibility improvements. The user interface narration now includes the position and usage of hovered or focused elements, so you get more context from the screen reader. That includes how to navigate the screen.
Title screen. Use mouse cursor or tab button to select element. Single player button. Screen element 1 out of 7. Left click to activate.
But also in some cases a frankly staggering amount of information about which position a button has on the screen, what options it has, what happens when you tab, and what happens when you cycle the button, and so on.
Options. Video settings. Graphics, fancy button. Screen element 1 out of 2. Selection list element 3 out of 11. Selected list entry element 1 out of 2. Press tab to navigate to next element. Left click to switch to graphics. Fabulous.
Name colors have been fixed for Minecraft with command blocks, structure void blocks, knowledge books, and light blocks. And speaking of the light blocks, they now have new textures, where the number has been moved up to the top left of the texture instead, so it doesn't clash with the stack count. The list you get for help with the F3 modes is now alphabetically sorted, and F3 and L is in the right place. And there was a black flash of a couple of frames when the loading screen booted up on certain systems. That is fixed in this version. Let's talk about visual changes, and let's start with the Programmer Art Resource Pack. The Programmer Art Resource Pack now works with dirt paths again, and freezing hearts are now properly displayed when using the Programmer Art Resource Pack. Potion particles no longer show when you look through a spyglass. That means that they don't flash directly in front of your view. Mobs and particles would sometimes vanish either completely or partially when behind stained or tinted glass. That is fixed in this version. And the big dripleaf texture is now vertically centered. A few sound changes in this version. The fire extinguishing sounds now play when mobs are extinguished by rain or water again. And the pitch of Amethyst cluster place sounds have been increased. And the pitch of the goat jumping sounds have been lowered. In addition to this, some stability and performance fixes, including dying in a nether portal causing you to get soft locked on the "you died" screen, meaning that you'd have to hard quit the game. A problem with certain multiplayer servers not being connectable has been fixed, and upgrading worlds from 1.12.2 and below will no longer cause items to lose enchantments. In addition to this, a number of crash fixes are included in the snapshot. Now, this is a snapshot, it is a testing version, and that means that it is unstable and can crash or even corrupt your world. Keep in mind that any world you open in this version can never be safely downgraded to a previous version again, so if you want to play this version, do so on a separate test world, or make sure you maintain backups of your world. If you want to play this version but you don't know how to, then click on the link in the iCard right now or in the video description. That'll take you to a tutorial video about how to get and play a Minecraft snapshot. And those were all the gameplay changes for this version. If you're also interested in technical changes like a new MBT tag for entities or a new block processor type for custom worlds, then stay around on the channel. There will be a technical news video up right after this one. Or if that's already done, then you will find it in an iCard on the video right now. With that said, thank you for watching to the end of this video. I hope you found it useful, and if you did, please help me out in return. Leave a like, drop a comment, or share the video to a friend. All of your interactions with this video helps the channel greatly, so thank you. Thank you also to some of the folks helping out in the making of this video. Thank you to Jockcool, Noinancer, Veguid, and Violin for your help on this video. If you want to stay on top of Minecraft Java Edition, then please subscribe to this channel. I make update videos for every new snapshot, pre-release, release candidate, and full release for the game. And don't forget to hit the bell icon and select all to get notified when the videos are out. But that's going to be all for today. Thank you so much for watching. My name is slicedlime, and I'll see you next time.